You know, I'm generally not a fan of funds. I prefer to pick my own stocks, but that doesn't mean I have a strict no fund rule. In fact, earlier this month we sold one for a huge gain, 54.6%. We would have missed out on that trade if we followed my no fund rule, but that begs the question, do funds belong in your income portfolio? The answer is yes, but only for specific reasons. I use funds when the exposure that I want is challenging to buy. Some examples are foreign companies that don't have shares on a major US exchange, bonds, or advanced options strategies. I'll also use funds when the companies I want don't pay a dividend high enough to meet my minimum yield, but sometimes funds will pay a dividend. In the case of our Amplify Lithium and Battery ETF, it was both. But even if your fund checks one or both boxes, there are a few other things you should take a look at before you add it to your income portfolio. First up is the fund objective. Sometimes the fund name will give you an idea of what the goals are, but you really want the full objective, right? The what and the how. The best place to find that is on the fund's official website under the Overview, Objective, or Description tab. Next up, you'll want to check the fund's top holdings. Some funds hold hundreds of positions where each makes up less than 1% of the total portfolio. However, the top 5 positions usually make up a large chunk of the portfolio. You'll want to take a look at least the top 5, even the top 10, and see where they're concentrated. Even more important is you want to make sure that they fall in line with that objective, that the management is doing what they said they set out to do. Last but not least, you want to look at the fund's fees and expenses. This is generally noted as an expense ratio, a percentage being taken for admin and for managing the portfolio. I generally don't like to pay over 1.5%. However, more active strategies require more from the management, so those fees could be higher. Ultimately, the only reason to own a fund is if it's making your life easier. You don't want to pay an expense ratio for a problem you could solve with a calculator and a few hours of free time.